What's up, you guys? Today, I want to kind of spread a little bit of knowledge around. I want to tell you guys how I vertical and how you guys can get good at verticals, and just, teaching you guys some more general stuff about walls. And so I hope you guys enjoy and you guys learn something from this video. So first off, I want to kind of start with just the basics. I want to start with, how to wall climb, how to, run on a wall, and how to maintain your balance. For example, if you wanted to, do a little wall climb up this wall here, what I would want to do is I would want to keep my arms like almost by my sides. I don't want them to move away from my hip. I don't want my elbow to pivot like out and up here. I want it to stay by my hip. I want this elbow to stay by my hip. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hit and then stick on the wall. That's all I'm gonna practice for now. Just gonna hit and I'm gonna stick on the wall. A trick for sticking on the wall is you wanna slowly push your controller out like that. So just slowly pushing your controller out. That's how you stay on the wall. So you're gonna hit, you're going to stay on the wall, and then once you get used to staying on the wall, you're going to hit to the other side of the wall while turning your body. So you're going to turn your body this way, and then you're going to do the exact same thing by sticking your hand out to stick to that wall. So jump, stick, turn, stick, and then from there, it's just muscle memory like this. And then all the way up to the top. And you did it. For running on a wall, you're going to follow the exact same principles that I just explained to you guys for wall climbing. What you want to do is you want to come over to the wall and you want to, do that exact same jump stick sequence that I just told you guys about, right? So you're going to jump and you're going to stick onto the wall. But instead of rotating your body like this and going to the other side, this time what you're going to do is you're going to just jump, stick, and then push forward. And then from there, you're going to jump and stick. And then as you're jumping and sticking, you're going to move your body parallel to the wall. So for example, if I wanted to jump from here to this wall, I would move my body to line up with this wall. So it would be like this. And then instead of just hitting it straight on like this, I would turn like this. So it's super easy, super simple. Can't mess it up. Get down here. And now we get into the spicy stuff. Now we are going to work with a vertical. The way I do my vertical is pretty typical compared to your average player. Really, it's all about technique and finding a favorable technique that applies to you. Take what I'm telling you guys with a grain of salt because you might need to create alternatives to what I'm doing. So the motion for a vertical is almost identical to a Lucio, except instead of bringing your left hand down to chop after your right hand, it's going to be a scenario where it's literally just your right hand coming up and down for that chop. Because the motion I like to use is I like to imagine elbow still planted here. Your elbow is going to come down and then at the end, your wrist is going to do a little flick right there. So your wrist is going to come down, you're going to keep that elbow in line, and then you're just going to flick down with your bicep, just whoosh. When that happens, you're going to flick with your wrist a little bit at the end. And then on the come up, you're going to reset your wrist by tilting it back up. You're going to reset your arm by moving it back up, and then it's just that motion. And then in order to achieve the little circle that I'm doing, you're going to want to cut almost in a straight line. It's going to be a little tilted this way because you're on a wall. So it's going to be like that, and then coming up in a half oval. So just to give you guys a little bit of a parallel view, coming down, and then up in a half oval. So after all that, it looks like this. One more tip, if you guys don't really have to do this, I find it really helpful to do a Lucio to kind of stabilize and start my vertical. It's more of a personal preference. You guys don't have to, but just jumping up to the wall, doing a little Lucio before I actually commit to the vertical lets me stabilize myself, and it gives me kind of confidence to do the vertical. So little Lucio here, and then little Lucio here, little Lucio here, and I kind of do that for each individual little curve in the wall. So I'll do it for this. And then when I transition to this wall, I'll do it again, and then I'll do it again, and then again, and then again. So that's just a little tip that I found useful. Now, another thing I want to touch on is Lucio running. Lucio running isn't too hard to learn, but it is a bit weird to grasp the concept of using your left hand or your right hand while you're going in a certain or facing a certain direction. If I am Lucioing this way, it's going to be kind of weird to conceptualize using my left hand to try and assist myself in going this direction because it's not the dominant hand that I'm using. But for a Lucio, what you want to do is you want to kind of take both of your hands and like just practice lining them up. So like hit down with your right hand. Remember, keep that elbow towards your hip. Just hit down with your right hand and then practice swooping that up at the same time you swoop your left hand down. So it's like this, swoop, 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 swoop. And then if you're gonna actually do that on the wall, it looks like this, swoop, 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 swoop. Another thing that you guys wanna keep in mind is you don't want your head to hit the wall because that's gonna push you out from the wall. And you don't want that to happen. So try and tilt your head slightly out of the wall, but not like at a ridiculous angle like this, because that's just gonna mess you up. So again, remember, you're gonna chop down, and then you're gonna swoop, you're gonna chop, swoop, and then at the same time you're bringing this up, you're gonna chop with your left. So it's chop, 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 chop. And then make sure you keep your left hand in line with your right hand, or it is gonna mess you up. Another pointer that I want to give you guys is that if you find yourself like slipping off of the wall, don't be afraid to kind of lean into the wall as long as you don't hit anything in your boundary. This is a really helpful tip, and I found that it's really useful for me, not only me but also other people that I've taught in game. So like if I'm slipping here a little bit, then I just sort of lean into the wall more, and you guys can see I'm leaning in real life, and then I'm gonna go back to my normal position. So leaning is a really helpful tool. You guys should use it if you need to. And then from there, you can just go crazy.